Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of RC Classic Garage. In today's video we're going to be doing a compression test on the Alfa Romeo 1750 GTv, and I thought what I would do is put this in the garage hints and tips section of the channel on how to do a compression test. Now, a compression test measures the health of the engine, and what you are doing is you're measuring the pressure that each cylinder is creating as the engine is turning over. And if you've got weak compression in any cylinder, it could indicate a problem with the engine. Now, those problems could come down to worn piston rings, or a leaking valve, or it could be a head gasket. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Now, the one tool you do need to do this test is a compression tester. And I picked up this one relatively inexpensively here in the UK. I think I paid the equivalent of £40 for this testing unit. Now, that's good enough for a DIY like myself. So the first job we have to do is to remove all the spark plugs. So now that all the spark plugs have been removed, what I've done is disconnected the electrical system and also the fuel system. So what you want to do is get a piece of paper to write down your measurements for each cylinder. Cylinder 1, 2, 3 and 4. We'll be doing a dry test as well as a wet test that I'll explain a bit later. So let's start with cylinder 1. So what you want to do now is crank the engine over at least 5 or 6 times. But it's really important to push the accelerator button so that you haven't got any cutoff from the carburetor. And we have a reading of 175. And we have a reading of close to 190. Pressure again close to 200, really good on that cylinder. And again 195. Now I can see I'm getting a really good reading on all 4 cylinders. 175, 190, 195, 195. So I actually know this is a really healthy engine to start with. Now that was done on a dry test. If I was getting a slightly lower reading anywhere, you would do what you call a wet test. And a wet test really is just to determine if there's anything wrong with your piston rings. And what you would do there is you would take a small bit of oil and you would squirt it down each of the cylinders. About 5 to 10 milliliters of oil. It would cover the top of the piston, and you do the compression test once again. And what it does is it creates a seal around the piston ring as it's creating the compression. And if you start getting much higher readings on the wet test, doing that again, it tells you you have worn piston rings. So that's really what you do with a wet test, is you just do the exact same procedure by putting oil into each of the cylinders. So there we have it. I hope you enjoyed the episode where I did a compression test on this car. The actual reason I did a compression test is that I'm going to be doing a gearbox rebuild because I've got a crunchy second gear on this car. And I thought what I would do is test the engine's health so that if there's anything I need to do while I've got the gearbox, I might as well redo the clutch, and if there's anything I need to do on the engine, I could assess it. But as we can see, this engine is in really good health. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks again for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you all next time.